Hey y'all, so I have a question for you. What if the reason you don't actually know what you want to do in life is not just because you're lost, but you're not asking the right questions? Hi, my name is Tyler. I am a part-time freelance software developer, content creator, and game developer. And on this channel, we explore ways of being productive that work with your brain, not against it. I have ADHD, but you may not. But I'm here to show you that you can build systems to be productive without burning out. So let's imagine this character, John Smith. He's about my age, maybe a few years younger. He comes to me and asks, what the heck do I do with my life? And I mean, that's the golden question at the end of the day, right? Especially since work is a major portion of our lives in the first place. And it's something that we're asked over and over again throughout our entire school lives and pretty much our life. Whether that's, what do you want to be when you grow up, or what do you do for work? Yeah, anyway, John Smith. They want to be able to figure out what they want to do with their lives, but they also have to make money as well, right? Overall, like anyone, they want a fulfilling life. But as it turns out, like with a lot of things, it's often a lot harder to figure out that. They were told that they would have a lot of time throughout middle school, high school, college, just to figure things out. The years pass and pass and pass, and well, soon they've reached a point where they just have no decision but to just take whatever and run with it. More because we have to survive, right? Sort of just get trapped in that sort of, I have to do this, and life kind of makes a decision for you. And they're worried that as years pass, the window of opportunity will get smaller and smaller and smaller, and they'll probably regret not doing anything about it. So we're talking, and I suggest the 3Gs. And through these 3Gs, they are able to transform their life. Maybe not immediately, because that would be a fairy tale. And let's be honest, a lot of things are still a matter of luck to some degree. But at least with this small system, they're able to at least make the next step and start searching for that. So what are the 3Gs? Well, the first one is get trying. Let's be honest, if you were to ask someone if they liked a specific dish, let's say mac and cheese, but they never tried mac and cheese, how would you know if you liked it or not? And I think that should be said with anything in life, right? How do you expect someone to know what they want to do if they've never tried it? So an exercise that I would suggest doing is go try stuff. What's that thing you wanted to try? Obviously, if it's too expensive or too out of your budget, build up some money to actually be able to try that thing. But the simplest thing you can do, especially with most things like coding, drawing, and a lot of other stuff, it's pretty affordable nowadays. So to start off small, I would suggest trying 3 things that really pique your interest. Give yourself about a month or so to see if it's something you want to continue pursuing. And if you happen to not actually like any of those 3 things, well, you just take another 3 things and go another 3 months of figuring out, do I like this? Sometimes it doesn't have to be super complicated, right? Now, segueing after that, get trying, it's get knowing. This is where you make it very clear which of those hobbies you didn't like and which of those hobbies you like. I would suggest doing this after a few runs of those 3 attempts at the hobbies, mostly so you can get a clear idea of what doesn't interest you or not. And let's be honest, it's a lot easier to know what you don't like than what you like. I always find that asking what someone likes is so hard because there's so much stuff. But it's really easy to ask someone what they don't like. I do think it generates a much stronger response, and that's probably why it's easier to list what we don't like. Yeah, anyway, the 3rd G is get good. Yes, I'm using the phrase get good, like, the gaming terminology and whatever. But I do believe that getting good at something actually is rewarding in its own right. On top of being able to also help people, because when you're able to provide that value in there, you see the reaction that like, oh, this is awesome. I mean, doesn't that feel fulfilling? So the goal of get good is to take those ones you actually like, maybe narrow it down to 1 or 2 to try to get better at first. And there's no real actual timeline for that. It's just get good at something. Because at the end of the day, you won't get any better at anything if you don't put the time in. And this whole process isn't really we end it here and oh, this is our whole life for the rest of our lives, because we always have to change eventually. And stuff happens, get an injury, and lots of other bad stuff in life. You just never know what will happen, and maybe 10 years down the line you'll start not having interest in that thing that you picked in the first place. And so it's always just a cyclical process of repeating and going back to the drawing board, back to the first G, which is get trying, get knowing, and get good. But anyway, if you enjoyed this video, maybe take a quick peek at this video. I think you'll like it. It has to do with something else that was very helpful in making my life easier and figuring things out. Yeah, I'll see you all later.